The crux of the matter revolves around Malema questioning Judge Elias Metejona about the past defamation case where the EFF was ordered to pay damages. Now, the Council for the Advancement of the South African Constitution, or CASAC, filed a complaint, arguing that Malema used the JSC platform to pursue his own political and personal interests, thus violating Parliament's Code of Ethics. Parliament's Ethics Committee agreed, finding that Malema had indeed breached the code by prioritizing his personal interests over the public good and potentially jeopardizing the integrity of both Parliament and the JSC. The recommended sanction: a public apology in the National Assembly to Judge Metejona and the JSC. Malema refused and instead took the matter to court, arguing that he was acting in a different capacity at the JSC meeting and that the ethics code shouldn't apply. He also claimed it violated his right to free speech. However, the court didn't buy these arguments. The ruling emphasized that members of Parliament are bound by the ethics code at all times, regardless of where they are serving. It also stated that the right to free speech isn't absolute, especially when public trust and judicial independence are at stake. The court essentially gave Parliament the green light to proceed with disciplinary action against Malema. Now, on the surface, this seems like a straightforward case of upholding ethical standards in public office. But as we often find, the story runs much deeper. While this particular incident has been thoroughly examined by the courts and the media, it begs a crucial question: is this the most egregious transgression we should be focusing on when it comes to Julius Malema? Let's take a step back and consider the broader landscape. For many South Africans, the name Julius Malema is synonymous with more significant controversies that have had a far greater impact on the lives of ordinary, often less privileged, people. One cannot discuss Julius Malema and alleged ethical breaches without mentioning the shadow of the VBS Mutual Bank scandal. This is a case where billions of rands, meant to uplift communities and provide financial security, were allegedly looted. While Malema himself has not been directly implicated in the criminal charges, his alleged close ties to some of the key figures involved and the subsequent benefits his associates and party allegedly received have raised serious questions. For countless individuals, particularly the vulnerable and the working class who entrusted their savings to VBS, the collapse of the bank had devastating consequences. Homes were lost, livelihoods were destroyed, and the dream of a secure future evaporated. Compared to the parliamentary ethics breach, the sheer scale of alleged financial impropriety and its impact on ordinary citizens in the VBS saga is immeasurably larger. Yet, years later, despite widespread outrage and hardship, the wheels of justice in that case seem to turn agonizingly slowly for those who suffered the most. Then there's the issue of hate speech. Malema has been repeatedly accused of using inflammatory language and making divisive statements targeting minority groups in South Africa. These utterances, often delivered with fiery rhetoric, have the potential to incite social division and racial tension, undermining the very fabric of our hard-won democracy. While the right to free speech is enshrined in our constitution, it does not extend to hate speech, which causes harm and perpetuates inequality. The emotional and psychological damage inflicted by such language on targeted communities can be profound and long-lasting. Again, when we weigh the impact of alleged hate speech against a procedural breach during a JSC meeting, the former carries a far heavier social and moral weight. Yet, despite numerous complaints and public outcry, convictions for hate speech against prominent political figures have been few and far between. This brings us to a deeply uncomfortable truth that many South Africans grapple with: does our justice system, intentionally or unintentionally, seem to operate differently for the powerful and the privileged? Think about it. A parliamentary ethics breach, while important, is dealt with swiftly, leading to court challenges and public scrutiny. But allegations of large-scale financial corruption that devastate the lives of the poor, or instances of hate speech that sow seeds of division, often seem to languish in the system. Cases drag on for years, legal loopholes are exploited, and the wheels of justice grind slowly, if at all, for those who lack the resources and influence to navigate the complex legal landscape. It's a perception that breeds cynicism and erodes public trust in the very institutions meant to protect us all. When we see a political leader facing swift consequences for a perceived procedural misstep, while allegations of far greater harm to vulnerable communities seem to stall, it raises legitimate questions about whose interests are truly being served. This isn't to say that Julius Malema should not be held accountable for the parliamentary ethics breach. Ethical conduct in public office is paramount. However, it's crucial that we, as citizens, maintain a sense of perspective. We must ask ourselves, are we focusing on the symptoms while ignoring the underlying disease? Are we holding all those in power to the same standard, regardless of their political clout or financial resources? The pursuit of justice should be blind, impartial, and equitable. It should not appear to favor the powerful while leaving the vulnerable to bear the brunt of alleged corruption and hate speech. The case against Malema for the ethics breach serves as a reminder that accountability is necessary. But it also serves as a stark contrast to the often glacial pace of justice in cases that have a far more profound and devastating impact on the lives of ordinary South Africans. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Do you believe the justice system in South Africa treats everyone equally? Are there other instances where you feel those in power have seemingly evaded accountability for more serious transgressions? Let's have a respectful and productive discussion.